Okay, we're going to do this session with our client, and we're just going to remotely focus in on them and scan the situation, kind of tune in like it's like remote viewing. And we just tune into it, and I'll use my skill sets, and you use yours, and we'll look deeper. We'll call it a deep scan, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to scan his various issues as regards us helping him get out of body and us pulling him out of body. So he has issues regarding getting out. He's working at it real hard. But he's got, what kind of blocks is he experiencing?
Well, there's quite a few, but the main one we're focusing on today is the fear of falling.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There's a relationship between a fear of falling, like out of a tree or off a cliff, and the idea of falling back into a physical body. When we go out of body sometimes, without being aware that we've gone out of body, because we don't remember our dreams, thus we don't remember our out of body experiences, but sometimes we can wake up startled, and like in bed, and it's like, and you literally feel like you've just fallen back into your bed. And sometimes a person will like fall through their bed. It's a feeling state, but it's really profound. And what that is the being is literally in his astral or second body, and he's falling, literally falling back into his body. It's kind of a shock, and it's waking him up, and so he only remembers his out of body experience of the part where he's waking up. So he's waking up as he falls back in. It's a very distinctive sensation of falling. So if a person had a fear of falling, they could have a fear such that this kind of falling back into the body, subconscious fear, and it could inhibit them from getting out in the first place, because getting out is the solution to falling, which they're afraid of. And if they got out, they might fall back into the body. It's not so much back into the body as the falling being the creepy fear thing. So getting out of body could possibly be a solution. So anyway, we're going to look into that, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you want to approach it?
Well, just like usual, I do the deep dive and like get out of body and scan the issues regarding it and see blockers and stuff like that and try to take care of it.
Okay. Do you want to start with like traumatic stuff in a past life, or more like limiting beliefs, or a soul contract agreement sort of thing? Do you have a preference, or is it just whatever
Just
comes up?
start out from the present, tune into the person, see why is that fear there, how did it all started, and try to go from there.
Okay. And to be clear, you can see that stuff when you tune in, yeah? You just see the visuals and stuff?
Yes.
Okay. So we know who the client is, and the client knows who he is, and so that's good enough for this work here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking into. Uh, Basically, the person is able to get out of body, but then, like, I think like because this item is so universal, like anyone could like, oh, I have a fear of falling, like anyone could fit. So because of that, there are beings who don't want us to get out, and they're like, oh, humans should not get out; they should be limited.
Absolutely.
And once we get out, we're on the target. Like, they have alarm going or whatever. It's like a signal where to find us and stuff. So, because of the grid or other things, our visuals are being turned off, so people can literally get out of body, and it's all gonna be pitch black, and they're like, oh, like I just look at the darkness and I don't see anything when I close my eyes. No, like they turn it off for people, and after that, your consciousness might wander. You might be wondering, but some beings will grab you and like, oh, that being should not be here, and then they wipe our memories and push us back into the body. And specifically, the person we're working on today has, it's complete black, pitch black. His memories are wiped whenever he's out, and he is pushed back into the body so hard that it causes that shock for the system, like you've mentioned. So, it's like fear of falling combined with being pushed back really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's part of what the I guess, like, actual body remembers. It's like, this
Mm-hmm.
reflex memory or whatever, muscle memory. It's
Mm-hmm.
like constantly being pushed back again and again and again every night, and that's the thing I'm picking up so far.
Okay. Well, continue your work, and I'll guide you as.
Okay, yeah. I'm not sure if you had any readings on the mirror. Like I was like waiting until I get that, but because then like I wasn't really trusting my skills, and that's a bad thing. But noticing like fleets, spaceships, and different things, and like maybe I was focusing too much on the life forms there, but it's like sort of I don't know. It's like 3 meter tall being, and it's close to. I don't know if you've seen that thing, but there's this like a bug that is like a stick, or like living stick bug.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
So it's similar, and it's like 3 meter tall, like huge. Um, like you're almost 2 meters. You're just
Mm.
like 20 meters far away from that, and that's like another meter up, and that's a lot. And the whole it's like a living plant inside the spaceship, and I was like tracking the origins of that. And it's as if that the plant being can grow so massive that it can literally consume the planet. Its thing is literally sort of getting his, I don't
Roots
know,
or tentacles or.
yeah, tentacle roots or whatever into the core of planets and just like sort of suck out the whole energy, suck out everything, and that's like destroying planets.
Nice.
And that's one of the things, and like that thing
Yeah.
is targeting beings on Earth
Yeah.
because those are the ones that are like fighting these planets off to save the planets. Like so, people who can get out of body are the ones who will probably like fight these a lot, and that's basically like, closer to the planet Earth where like oh like we have these beings, I'm gonna make sure that I stop them. So there's that, and there's also like spaceship beam energy. That's beamed at people who get out of body or do astral projection, and that energy is beamed to the point where people who get out are teleported constantly from one place to another. That it causes the shock and wakes you up and like drags the body back, the physical.
Mm.
So there's that.
Yeah, we got the biggest charge energy is on the plant entities. That big tall thing sucking the life out of planets. And from my side, it was like what you were looking at was just hard, hardcore, uh, hard to look at, and it wasn't, releasing it. It was just
Yeah.
like it was just a hard look, and then start releasing until you start talking about it.
Mm.
And the most, the best stuff to be talking about, focusing on was the the plant 9 meter, 3 meter thing,
Yeah.
and his activities. So could you look into that some more? And
Sure.
what is he doing, and how is that affecting our client?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm picking up that that plant in one of the past lives devoured or like just ate the being like our client.
The plant sort of thing ate our client.
Yeah, it's like imagine like right now it's like the baby form of 3 meters. It's like filling
Mm-hmm.
out the spaceship fully, and it can like use the tentacles to move around and connect to things and like scan everything and like literally access the
Yeah.
AI and get information, and that thing can be transferred like if they are in the spaceship but they're gonna like leave it on another like realm or planet or
Yeah.
some other place, just like cargo. You're like okay, here's this dog, we're gonna leave it here, and so that planet can like or the plant can literally like sort of just keep eating things, whatever. So it's like consumes absolutely everything, consumes life, and to the point where like it's sucking everything dry. If people will have their consciousness, their soul, their energy and stuff, it's gonna be like a leech, just sucking absolutely everything. And through it all, like as it eats and it grows massively to be bigger than the planet, to be able to consume that, and we somewhere in it all in one of the past lives our client is in the planet that's being eaten. He's fighting back and he's being grabbed and just like you know
Yeah. The client is being the planet,
mm,
or
uh,
is on the planet
he is
somewhere.
on the planet while he's being consumed,
Okay. Yeah.
and both the client and the planet was eaten or devoured or however you would call it.
Yeah. Just when you think you got it figured out, where it's the giant insects, are being a problem, you find out that now it's giant freaking man-eating plants.
I haven't seen those before. This is the first time I'm encountering them as well.
Yeah, I never encountered this or heard of this before, but uh, wow.
It's like looks. I don't know. Like you can sort of think it's intelligent as fuck.
Yeah, yeah, intelligent man-eating fucking plants.
Yeah.
I gotcha. I believe you.
If you would think
uh,
like a starfish,
yeah,
if that's what it's called, like it would have probably only like 5 tentacles or whatever you would call it, but then it's like a root. You know how plants can go through the concrete and other stuff and
yeah,
just keep
just
growing?
to break right through concrete and stuff
Yeah,
and
that
rocks.
that's pretty much if like it can just keep expanding and expanding, expanding until like it's big enough to like squeeze everything or just
Yeah.
destroy stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, the details about the thing probably doesn't matter as much as how we can help with the issue.
Yeah. How's it affecting our client? What are some of the consequences of that him being having a relationship with this plant being and his experience with it? What would be can you look into the consequences of how that's affected his life and lives since then?
Well, one is that the planet is being destroyed, and as he is in the planet and it's falling apart, he literally falls and crashes tons of times, and then he's grabbed and just squished. That's just one thing. But yeah, I can scan some more than that.
Okay, yeah, we'll look a little more at the consequences and then, you know,
Yeah,
go from there.
the gory details.
Yeah, the gory details and
Mhm.
how it affects our client
Yeah.
emotionally after that.
Okay. Looking at like when this mm, huge plant being is devouring everything, it's like it's like that being is a living portal. So everything is being sucked and like killed and stuff. But when it's consumed, it enters the body and literally gets through the portal inside, and now it's trapped between space and time. And it's like eternal falling.
Oh, wow, 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 wow. Yeah, yeah.
And
That'd
so
cause a fear of falling, wouldn't it?
you're just constantly always falling and feeling the pressure and everything, and
Yeah.
it's just never ending.
Wow. Okay. Just when you think you've heard it all. Wow, that's heavy duty. Okay. So, um, let's look into some of the things it's caused the client to believe or um,
I mean, he's still there.
mhm.
He is still there. Part of him is still falling.
Okay.
Like everything that's consumed by that being is
Yeah.
still in
They're
that place.
falling.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that would be something to do, like free everything that's in there, restored
Yeah.
where it was and stuff.
Sure. Let's do that. Good time now.
Yeah,
Yeah. Client first, and
yeah.
then yeah, priorities, premium, treatment.
All right. Yeah, I got our client and basically everything that was inside that never-ending loop or trap, and just like destroyed the place. Um, yeah, another detail I found out was like everything that's in there and keeps falling. It's as if like it keeps fragmenting, like falling apart and everything. Like your memories, your life, your beliefs, everything. You're in that place with a stuck emotion or like feeling, say, in the sense of falling, and it's scary. It's like really very, very intense. But everything else that was is gone. It's like being constantly devoured, taken away, constantly just split from everything. It's like turning something into dust and becomes nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's pretty big. Like you get beings out of there and they're all like destroyed. It's gonna be they don't even know who they are and stuff like so.
Reminds me kind of like the the galactic vacuum where you get sucked into that and transmuted, but different. But
Yeah,
transmuted to fucking dust or something.
pretty much. So I sort of like took out of the place and redid everything. Like sort of reverse the whole process
Uh-huh.
to restore everything. So everything that was been taken away, devoured, killed, destroyed, and all that stuff, sort of restored. But I think it's like takes a while for for the being to feel like it was before.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's look at some of the beliefs that the client may have come away with after having been devoured by the man-eating, planet-eating plant.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's like it's pretty intense. Like, being there and being able to feel everyone, it's sort of exhausting. But it's like, I don't know, everyone on the planet over there that's being consumed. It's like feeling, I don't know what's the right word, like hysteria or something else. It's like when death is right in front of you, and you start laughing, but because you feel helpless and you know that you can't do anything, and you're just like, laughing because it's so crazy that you can't function anymore.
Yeah,
Kind of like
hysterical
that.
laughter. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, everything's dying, and our client specifically is dearly holding on to the life and to the body because he doesn't want to die, he doesn't want to go, and he's like very clinging into that. And once he's sucked into that place, how should I describe it? Like, there's a lot of shifts and changes. One is like, the constant phrase of "I want to get out, I want to be free, I want to be out of here." To the
Mm-hmm.
like, it happens forever. To the present until we took care of it. To the point where the person goes from resisting into starting to believe like, oh, I cannot get out. This is hard. Like, I keep falling. I'm afraid of this, and like lots of beliefs like that. And it keeps changing into like, oh, I'm never getting out. I'm stuck. This is gonna happen
Yeah.
forever and stuff like that. To the point where this is normal. This is okay. That's how it's supposed to be. To like, don't I don't want to leave this place. It just like keeps happening so long that you just adjust and become nothing, and you just like accept that the way it is.
Yeah. So, and that belief can carry over into this lifetime. Like, I went out, but I'll never get out. I can't get out.
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah, all that.
Like,
That's
you just become comfortable with being in this body and being in this
yeah.
place, and it's strongly holding you here, and everything that's like it's still happening. So since this part of you is gonna be connected, and just feeling that you will naturally be in the body and not want to get out, not feel like you can.
Right. And you can analytically or consciously work real hard, want to get out, try to get out, but can't get out. And deep down, you've got the belief
Yeah,
and the traumatic experience behind it, saying, "I'll never get out. I can't get out."
yeah, I'm
And
stuck in here
you've
forever.
forgot that you've agreed to that or believed that long ago,
Pretty
but
much.
they're just still affecting you
Yeah.
subconsciously. Yeah, that's how it works. That's how the past life trauma stuff works. All right. Well, hopefully this will help the client. It'll shake some stuff up for him, and when he listens to the session here, it will help him. But aside from the release that we're working on
Yeah.
here.
So now, since we found like the main phrases, feelings, and everything else, I'm gonna revoke it, take care of it, like any kind of agreements, any kind of beliefs and different stuff that's in there,
Mm-hmm.
and any kind of fragments that were taken away or anything that was lost that he should have. I will get it back to him, and make sure that his special body that was stuck in there is safe and in the sort of rehab place.
Okay, good.
Instead of removing it, I'm also targeting the entities that mess with him and stuff. And those beings that push him back into the body, it's like reinstalling or reminding the person of that specific life, because it causes the very similar sensation. And so he unknowingly gets triggered, and no matter how much he fights it here at the present, with all the process he does, because of those incidents just keep happening without his knowledge, it it constantly triggers him and gets him back to that place. And it's like doing the work and then nothing happens because you haven't left the suppressive surroundings or different stuff.
Yeah, that's how the dark forces work. They're they're playing us against our own subconscious stuff, and our own subconscious stuff won't normally bother us unless we trigger it. So they know this, so they do whatever they can to trigger our worries, concerns, and fears of one kind or another. And this whole coronavirus, for example, uh, they're triggering people's fears of pandemics in past lives and stuff, really serious stuff. So, they trigger, trigger, trigger. and as long as they can keep us triggered, we're using our own subconscious powers to inhibit ourselves and limit ourselves. So it seems like the kind of mechanism at play here in this.
Yeah. Alright, so I'll keep doing the work and
Okay.
so.
What
Alright.
happened?
So yeah, I was like sort of restoring the parts of him that was lost or taken away, and it's like part of the whole mechanism in the plan being portal, whatever we would call it, place where everything is stuck. It's like throughout the falling, you keep experiencing all of these intense emotions, feeling states, thoughts, everything. Like you see everything right in front of you being squeezed and like taken away and like falling and stuff. Um, the person who followed that, he doesn't want to see it anymore. It just keeps traumatizing him. So he consciously tries to block it all out. And with that, it's as if any kind of astral body is connected, or anyone that is connected right now, is basically you're just turning off the light or ability to see things because the decision is so strong, and you just like you try to block it out fully. And so taking out away your visuals just because of other incidents gap happening to you and different stuff like that. So I was taking care of it, just like finding out how it works now.
So not only does it block out the ability to get out, but it causes him to turn off his ability to see spiritually.
Yeah.
When the body's asleep.
Yeah, it's like you can get out of body, but you won't be able to see. So it's as if you're not out of body because you're not aware of things.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm just like with my eyes closed, I don't see anything. People can be out, you're not aware of it.
Yeah.
So.
Very interesting.
All right, I think like that's good enough. Like I did a lot of work.
Okay, so anything else? Yeah, I guess that's it. Okay, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Well, let's just do a summary or conclusion. What did we find out? Generally, for our client who's trying to get out of body, wants to get out of it, working real hard at it, hasn't been able to. What do we find out?
Yeah, well, there are beings who constantly every night try to wipe out his memories and push him back into the body, and that's one thing that's as a trigger. Another thing, in one of his past lives, he was attacked by this huge ass planet-eating beings, and as the end result, he's trapped in sort of like eternal loop of falling and being consumed by it. So the person develops tons of beliefs and like feeling states and uh, just like agrees that there is no way out. He's like like dearly holding on to his life to the point where he's stuck, and that's okay, and like he doesn't even want to get out because that's the normal way and all stuff. So
yeah,
with all that, I removed it. It's done.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So we'll see how the client's doing. We check with him in a day or two.
Yeah.
And see how that goes.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's it. Break.
Okay.